So, it was November 2016. I was preparing for my board exam and used to spend most of my time in classes. So one evening, I was stuck in my class for some reason and got out very late. It was around 10:30 p.m. when I took a shortcut to reach home early. The road used is very quiet at night and had an old abandoned hospital which was closed to 12 to 13 years. So I was walking past that hospital, had my headphones in, and was mumbling a song when I felt someone following me. I looked back, but no one was there, so I started to walk again. As I was walking, I saw a lady at some distance walking ahead of me. I thought she was from my colony, as she looked like a woman from the neighborhood from the looks of her back. So I called her name to stop her so that we could go home together. But as I called her, I noticed that she started walking even faster. So I started to run towards her, and she kept going even faster. But the strange thing is, I was running and she was barely walking, but still, she was going so fast, and I stopped chasing her. Just then she stopped too. As I slowly approached her, my phone rang. Pulled out my phone from my pocket, and I was about to pick up the call, but then it got disconnected. I saw there was no bar in the network box, and my phone was on an emergency call. It was strange because I often take this road and always had a full network. So I kept my phone inside, and as I looked up, the lady was gone. I looked here and there, but the road was totally empty, except for me. The road is completely straight for about 1 mile. There was no turns, no place to hide, and the woman was just in front of me 5 seconds ago. I got chills all over my body. I felt this weird coldness like I can't explain. My brain stopped working, and I just started running as fast as I could. I reached home and told my family everything that happened. I was very scared and panting, like I was fighting for air. I got a high fever that night that lasted for 3 days. Many people have experienced the same thing I did when walking on that road late at night. Some people think that a ghost of a pregnant woman who died during childbirth due to complication in the hospital was haunting the road. The hospital was believed to be cursed since then, and allegedly, that was why it was closed. I stopped taking the road, but this incident will forever scare the heck out of me. So the first encounter with this spirit, I think that's what it is, was about 2 to 3 years ago. I can't really tell because I tried to forget it at the time, thinking it was just a trick of the light. I was woken up around 1 a.m. in the morning by a creaking noise at the end of my bed. And I looked to see a silhouette of a head with 2 glowing circles for eyes. As my eyes focused, it disappeared. I sleep on a very high bed, and this thing had to be really tall to poke its head over the end, or it was standing on one of the bars. I tried to forget that this ever happened at the time. However, that all went out the window when I saw it again a few weeks later. I was asleep, and like last time, I was woken up by a creaking noise, and I saw it again, but in more detail. It had a gaunt man's face with what looked like a leathery brown skin in the orange light of my new clock. It also had drooping, tired-looking eyes with 2 glowing pupils. I couldn't see the rest of the eyeball, just the pupils. I only saw it for 4 to 5 seconds max each time. So I don't really remember all the details. But if you want to know anything about this, please tell me, because I can hardly sleep and I'm so scared of going into my room. Short backstory. 4 years ago, shortly after my mom died, I started playing with the spirit board, not believing it was real. Something got attached to me. One day I was sitting in my room with my friends while they played the board themselves. They told me it was spelling out my name. Sure enough, it was. I walk over and ask it what it wants, and it starts spelling out Mom, fast and repeatedly. I've never used one again. I was being followed by something for about 2 months after that. About 2 weeks ago, my friend bought some dowsing rods. I brought him over to my place, and we started asking questions and got responses right away. This thing seemed like a benevolent entity So we indulged it and kept playing occasionally, questioning it and trying to figure out what it is. I have a 2-year-old sister that has nightmares and wakes up practically every night and has to be rocked to sleep in a recliner in the living room. Yesterday, I was tossing and turning all night and could barely sleep. I woke up around 6 a.m. to the very same recliner rocking while everyone was asleep. I brought my friend back over and questioned to try it and figure out what it was. I asked if this was the same thing that followed me 4 years ago. It said yes. I asked if this thing was potentially my mom, and it said yes. But I knew it definitely wasn't. I just wanted to see if it was lying or not. I called bullshit to it, and I asked if this thing is what was rocking the recliner, if it was evil, and if it was what I encountered 4 years ago. It said yes to everything. I could have lied, but I don't know. My friend was calling it names and asking it to show itself, make something move, etc. Nothing happened. Later that night, when I came home, around midnight, I tried to go to sleep. I've never been so terrified in my life. I kept hearing shit happen every 15 seconds, it felt like. It was loud. It was bad, loud, and very disturbing. I heard loud footsteps that seemed to be going around me. I heard my TV creak. I heard my fan physically move. I heard something in my kitchen move. And I swear I could feel when this thing was right next to me. Around 2 a.m., I wake up to my little sister screaming and crying. The worst it's ever been. I don't know what to do. Please someone help me. I've tried to convince my dad, but he flat out denies anything is going on. And just simply doesn't believe.